Hello, you sexually repressed parakeets. Jim Sterling here, and this is Resident Evil 7, the beginning bit of it, the beginning thing, the bit that began. It's the demo, anyway. It's the demo that was announced at Sony's E3 PlayStation press conference 2016, 100 years. It's Resident Evil 7, a reimagining, if you will. They're saying it's going to be a new slate. Some people are wondering whether it's going to be some sort of reboot thing, like a whole new thing. The fact they're calling it Resident Evil 7 seems to suggest that it's going to at least, like, it's not designed to wipe out what's happened before. But it's clearly, especially from the stuff we see here, a whole new avenue. So this is just the opening cinematic here. As you see people trying to escape from a spooky house. Now, I've played through the demo. I played through it once. There is a reason to go through it more than once. This is just a single playthrough. There's stuff in it that... There are secrets and things to uncover. There's stuff that I know just from the items I picked up. There's stuff I know I haven't done. So that's interesting. So it is worth going through again, from what I'm told, and I'll probably find some time to do that. But this is just one breeze through, get an idea of what's going on. Here we are, Resident Evil 7, beginning hour. This is the teaser there. Of course, no idea whether or not this teaser is reflective of what Resident Evil 7's going to be. You know, in the same way that PT, and there are things to... good reason. There's good reason to compare this to PT. You know, PT wasn't necessarily going to be what Silent Hills would look like if fucking Konami hadn't cancelled it. But here, we are seeing a first-person perspective in this creepy rundown house. There's some... Once you get out into the corridor, you really do feel that sense of PT flavour that I think Capcom is very deliberately chomping on. I think that's a very deliberate move of theirs. And it's a savvy move. You know, PT was taken off the PS Store by Konami. Fuck Konami. And we're not going to see Silent Hills. Fuck Konami. And Allison Road got cancelled. Fuck Konami. That wasn't really their fault, but I just felt like saying fuck Konami again. But even though it's clearly PT-ish, some Blair Witchy type stuff there, it's got a real there is a Resident Evil sense to it. Just from, like, the way that the text comes up to describe doors that won't open and things like that, and stuff like this. It feels subtly, that's the word, subtly Resident Evil-ish, I feel anyway. But again, with this first-person horror perspective. So, as you'll know from when I capture PS4 footage, this is pre-recorded, and I'm going to sneeze any second now, so when that happens, I apologise. Opening up a dirty, manky fridge. Gross, you know, nice and dirty. Good stuff. I think that sneeze is going away. Favourite bit of the demo? Bit of a microwave bird. And why not? No one's cleaned up after themselves. Fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I feel like it looks very pretty. It's got a real nice look to it. You know, pretty in a relative sense, because it is also, you know, grimy and mucky and horrible looking in a good way. You know, it really does look disgusting, which I like. There we go. Bit of a dull fell down. I will say I didn't find this trailer, at least this playthrough, this playthrough of this teaser particularly scary. I did find it atmospheric, though. You know, I am someone who... It's very rare that I find horror games scary anyway. I mostly just enjoy them for the atmosphere or, you know, some macabre imagery. And that's what this teaser has. I mean, either way, I found this more interesting than the entirety of Resident Evil 6. So it's got that going for it. You know. One thing I didn't see, there is a note on the table, which I saw after I did the recording. There's a note on the table that says, "I will dash them against the stones." I guess that's sort of important for after this bit. Anyway, there you go. The bolt cutters took up 2 spaces, so when I clicked once, I selected the bolt cutters accidentally. It doesn't count the items as one selection, it counts the slots, which could be a bit annoying. They might want to fix that up before, if that's the inventory system they're going with. So,
did you find this guy?
Give me a break, Pete.
Bit of found footage
I only
stuff.
work with professionals.
There's some Outlast
Speaking of which,
stuff here.
sure the sound is right this time. I don't want a repeat of Amarillo.
That was 2 fucking years ago.
I didn't realise you could control it until now. There we go. So you are actually the person in the VHS tape.
Again? Just don't be surprised if we have to make a change. New plan.
There's gonna be dialogue
We'll walk
heavy
through
here,
the
and
inside first,
I'm probably gonna
then we
talk
shoot the
over
intro.
it. I put the
like we always
subtitles on.
Just try to say the show's name this time, okay?
This bit's dialogue heavy enough to where if I would
Tonight
just
on
end up
Sewer
being
Gators,
silent.
Another worthless
So
fucking shit.
I'm gonna chat
Happen.
over it a bit. And if you don't like that, I'm sure there are silent playthroughs on YouTube already that you can look at, and that's fine. But I'm here to talk. Thanks.
Are we rolling?
One thing I do like about where this seems to be going, especially with some of the bit of the backstory that's revealed, which I will be a bit quiet for, is the resident part of Resident Evil appears to be relevant again.
So, why are we in hell this time?
I think this is the
Have you ever
backstory
prepped?
bit.
What's the prep? Shitty house, spooky sound.
I'll let them
Ooh, is it haunted?
explain this bit.
Fuck me.
Explain!
I was an anchor, you know?
Weekend sub, Pete. Not anchor.
What's that?
Nothing.
Now they're going to explain it in a second. But it's in a spooky house again,
What's the story, Andre?
right?
Abandoned farmhouse, missing family, foul play suspected. The usual.
Yeah.
How long did you say this place has been abandoned?
So
3 years.
there's almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing to this as well.
Clancy,
It's clear that this game
Let's make a great
is
cutaway.
taking a lot of inspirations from a lot of different things, both
Hillbilly
other
Joe and his
horror
family go
games
missing.
Not
and
hillbillies,
horror
bakers. Jack
games.
and Marguerite
Did I say
Baker.
horror games and horror games? Horror games and
Quiet
horror
about
films. Sorry.
A lot of bad rumors about their
I just
son, Lucas.
I woke up this morning
Bad
and
seed, apparently.
rushed to finish all the work that I stopped last night because it was getting too late.
Shit.
Been busy for me this
I should've
E3.
wore my good shoes.
I'm not at E3 because I haven't been to an E3 in years. Can't be bothered.
Glad I had my shots.
You notice it's just as sticky opening the fridge there as it
backdrop.
was when we opened it earlier. That's a
Andre,
bit
What do you think?
off.
Andre?
Uh-oh. Blair Witch Project
Andre.
as well. That's another thing this
Andre.
game takes, especially earlier with
Where Andre
the
went?
like the straw dolls hanging off the ceiling.
Where is he?
There's a lot of-
Unfucking believable.
There's a lot of
This is the
inspiration.
last
Do you
time I
see
worked with
that?
guy.
You see that spooky
I mean,
ghost
you
thing
do
on the
this,
stairs
let me
was
go,
just
but,
there and
with a
disappeared.
cameraman like you, Clancy?
Huh? Spooky.
You stick with me.
Very, very scary, dairy times. I was really hoping to see something else at this point, just looking behind myself and stuff.
What the fuck was that?
I was like, God, is there going to be more of that? I'm sure from what I've heard, there's a decent amount of Easter egg type stuff. And a different ending, there's more than one ending. Again, still hoping to see something, didn't see
Where the
anything.
fuck is he?
And the finger that I picked up earlier in the demo, I did not...
Andre, where are you, man?
on this playthrough, didn't find a use for it, and I didn't find a fuse for that fuse box. So, I don't know whether all of the stuff in the demo has a use or whether some of it's a red herring. Further research needed. But again,
What the hell?
I'm sure it's already been fully disseminated and gone
You gotta be
through
fucking
by
kidding
now.
me. All right, new
That's
deal.
the internet.
We find Andre and we go.
You know,
We fuck this
PT was
show.
solved like 1,000 times faster than Hideo Kojima imagined it would be, because it's the internet. So I'm sure every little secret's already out there or going to be out there very soon. Anyway. Spooky basement.
First,
So spooky.
Need a nice hero shot of me coming down the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So, you first.
Alright, always good. Let's always go down the spooky... How's he holding the camera? Bearing in mind that camera was a VHS camera. Unless whoever took the footage somehow put it on VHS from, I don't know, digital? Why would you do that? It was very Blair Witchy. And that bit was rather Texas Chainsaw-y. So it's a little bit of everything. Gross. You know. There's some feet. So... That's grisly. Very grisly indeed. And then there's a note left there. I shall dash you against the stones. That's why that last bit that I didn't see earlier was relevant. Quite how it got there while we were watching TV, unless the person we're playing as is like that fucking obsessed with television that they'll just let... You know, some children are like that. So, of course, I rushed to do it. Because it's a horror game, you may as well abide by the horror tropes. You know. Immediately go to the scary place. Backdoor key. And the ladder's missing, so we can't go down. Cool. So we've got the backdoor key, which more or less means we've got our goal. See that person having a walk? They must have fucking ran for it, though, after that. At this point, I was fully expecting something to jump out and grab me. But, no, there's a bit of a mess. Did like the little rolling can there. I think it was a can. We hadn't gone up the stairs at this point, so I thought I'd satisfy that curiosity. Not sure exactly what that did. Again, could be something for to check out in another playthrough. Mannequins. I was trying to knock them over. I wasn't looking at their asses. That looked like I was looking at their asses. I was trying to knock them over. I'm not a mannequin deviant, okay? Actually, I don't know. I've never tried. I should get a mannequin sometime, see if that's the... Whoever did that had a lot easier time knocking a mannequin over. So there you go. And do. Nothing. Let's get out of here. Grab our key. Whip, boop.
Welcome to the family, son.
And there we are. And that, I feel, is very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We've got ourselves a welcome to the family, son kind of guy. No zombies. So, who knows whether that's a thing or not. We don't know. But then there is that. You don't really get a good look, but it looks like a scary kid thing. And then that. So there we are. That's Resident Evil 7 Beginning Hour. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the teaser. But, you know, as to what this family is and whether it will have actual links to Resident Evil as a series, we don't know. But I'm very intrigued. It did its job. It kind of hooked me. And there we are. Hope you enjoyed watching it. It's on, you know, the PlayStation Store now. You have to dig a little bit to find it. It's not immediately there, but that's good. And I'll see you later. Bye.